This is Lama Tantrapa with the Secrets of Qigong Masters, the talk show brought to you by Academy of Qidao, the first and only school in the world offering professional education in Tai Chi and Qigong coaching. To find out about the programs at Academy of Qidao and to learn how you too can become a certified Tai Chi or Qigong coach, please visit qigongcoaching.com. This show is also brought to you by Mastery Magazine, sponsoring the Summit of Qigong Masters that brings to you some of the top experts in Qigong in North America. To enjoy watching the video interviews with them, please go to qigongmasters.com.
Tonight, I'm delighted to introduce to you Lilou, an entrepreneur, inspirational author, and a web sensation. As of September 2011, Lilou has over 10 million viewers on her YouTube channel, youtube.com/Lilou. She has conducted 700 interviews and is one of the fastest growing web TV hosts globally. Her videos are translated into many languages for viewers around the globe. Her vision is to develop and extend web TV programs in all the main languages and countries in the world, dedicated to co-creating our reality. Her first venture was starting her own internet marketing company. Since then, she has gone on writing books, starting her own publishing company, traveling the globe, interviewing New York Times bestselling authors, and meeting some really inspiring people along the way. Her community has over 7,000 members in 180 countries worldwide. Initially inspired by Oprah Winfrey, Lilou began producing her own inspirational TV show in November of 2006. Originally, it was called My Juicy Life, and later retitled Living a Juicy Life. The show follows Lilou as she interviews the authors of motivational, spiritual, and self-help books. The practice still continues on her website, www.liloumace.com. Her mission is to create and host an international communication network to inspire, motivate, and empower millions of people to pursue their dreams, and to help spread joy, freedom, and personal awakening. Welcome, Lilou, to the Secrets of Qigong Masters. It's such a great opportunity to interview you, the person who has interviewed hundreds of wonderful masters and spiritual teachers. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I am so delighted to be able to pick your brains, the brains of a person who has been doing this for much longer than I have, namely interviewing the masters and gurus and spiritual teachers and asking them all these provocative questions so they could actually share their secrets with the rest of us, mortal humans. So if you don't mind, I will jump ahead and ask you to share with our listeners a little bit about your show. How did you start it, and how long have you been doing it for?
Yeah, I'm right now since the beginning of 2011 on something called the Juicy Living Tour, and it's a 12-month tour mainly around U.S., Canada, and soon around Mexico. For 12 months where I'm interviewing, as you said, all those wonderful teachers, but also everyday people, because I believe all of us have teachings and wisdom to share, especially in this precious time. So I'm all about very much at this stage of bringing it all together so that we're all on the same level and putting it all back into perspective, because I think for decades it's always been there's this guru and he's going to finally tell me the big secret. And I do think, especially as I'm embarking on this journey, like we have that wisdom within, and it's very important for us to recognize that for our journey to go further. And but I've been interviewing people since 2006. I started as a video blogger on YouTube. I had started a community called the 100-Day Reality Challenge, and for 100 days I was posting my video blogs as I was applying universal laws and principles and discovering them. So I started that, and people start watching, and it was growing, and in parallel I had a marketing company and designing websites, and all the way to 2009, where I lost my job. I was working then for a company in London as director of marketing, and I lost my job. And I had already millions of views on YouTube, and I thought, you know what, this is the time to really live fully my dream. So I wrote a book about it, about this experience, and which then eventually led me to start the Juicy Living Tour at the beginning of this year and take the journey to a whole other level.
Fantastic. So what inspired you to start this program in the first place in 2006?
It was really because I noticed that I was lucky, or I had the opportunity to spend some time with all these incredible people and those teachers and the writers, and it was pretty effortless and easy. And I'm like, not everybody gets the chance to meet these people, and I want to share my encounter. I want to start interviewing them, and I started my own. I'm 34. I started my own the spiritual path and journey, and back in 2000, after a personal development class, and I was coming from France. I was in the U.S. and I was searching for myself, and so having started and participating myself in those seminars, then the next thing was really about sharing on a more intimate level that connection and getting even deeper with those tools, or really get my question answered. And I just pretty much, it's been a journey of its own, meaning that I have followed the synchronicities, and wherever this is leading me, I believe it's something way bigger, definitely led by life. And I cannot say to you today that I know exactly even where it's going, because every day I'm surprised, and I feel so blessed that it keeps on opening up, and it is what it is now. That I'm just in awe. I'm really in awe in front of this highest life force.
Fantastic. So, as I understand, you started video blogging about your personal experiences after attending a workshop, a personal development workshop. Who was the workshop with?
The workshop was, at the time, it was Landmark Education. I did the forum. It's called the forum. It's over a weekend, and that was the first time I was in kind of in need, or knowing that I was definitely in front of a big wall. My parents didn't know I had moved to the U.S. I went through a lot with them after the divorce, and I was at a place where I just didn't know why my life was not working, because I had that strong burning desire for something to work out. So I took on that seminar. It could have been anything else, but it was that seminar, and which I guess was the exact thing that needed to happen, because from that point forward, my curiosity about growth and personal development and the universe and spiritual laws and all of that has suddenly was a big part of my life, and all the way to now doing what I'm doing.
Wonderful. Now, when you started the blog, did you start by interviewing people, or did you just post your own thoughts on the internet?
My own thoughts. Yeah, that's why what I broadcast is a little bit different, because it's very much, it started as video blogs where I was sharing as authentically as I could each time my path and what I was learning. And as more and more people start tuning in, and as I was opening up, then the need to, not the need, but just really, I just wanted to start interviewing people. And I did a lot of interviews over Skype. And then I would share also my experience from the interview. I would continue to share the journey. And it's like one piece, one interview or one piece and one video blog was building up, was building on top of each other. now be at a place where I feel I have an open heart, and I could see how scared I have been, and I still have fears, but it's more and more each day. I'm coming from this place of love and relearning to connect with nature and with the elements and with the beauty and connecting with myself and all that is. But it's been a journey. So I've been sharing that journey since 2006 on YouTube.
And I understand that at some point when you started interviewing people, you probably didn't have a lot of connections and had to start by interviewing regular folks before you connected with some well-known spiritual gurus or spiritual teachers of different disciplines.
Well,
So
interestingly enough, it started pretty quickly because the reason why I started interviewing is because shortly after moving from Miami to Chicago, I met with Oprah Winfrey, and I had declared through one of my video blogs that I wanted to meet her, and within 2 days, a guy that I had just met bumped into her in Chicago, and she offered him 2 tickets to go to the show for us the next day. So, and the show was on Dream Job, and Oprah was describing her day-to-day work, and I just felt so connected to her essence, to the mission that she had beyond the platform that she was on. I was in awe. I was speechless. And then we went backstage and had pictures with her, and from that moment on, that's really when I took this to the next level. And shortly after that, I started airing my show on cable television in Chicago, not having any background whatsoever in the topic, and being really shy myself in front of a camera. I started it. I knew I had to do it, and it's just incredible how one thing, just came to me, and to do now what I'm doing, and I really profoundly connected with her, and shortly after that, one of my first interviews was with Sonia Choquette, that is a Hay House author, and John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, that happened to be stuck in Chicago because of a snowstorm. So it was just coincidences like that made it pretty easy. But I've always been a go-getter. I've always gone for what I wanted, but at the same time, a bit too much. So now it's all about bringing the feminine energy back in.
Wonderful. I would imagine that if you could go back, or if you had to start from scratch again, perhaps you would do something differently. What would you do differently if you had an opportunity to start a little over again?
I wouldn't do anything differently. I would do it exactly, because every single step, no matter how I had big failures that I felt like failures, and that was really hard, and I struggled at times, and my heart has been closed and only reopened lately, but every single thing is so perfect. It's so perfectly in place that I wouldn't change any of that. And that's why now I have this big gratitude for life and the universe, that it has so much more information than we do, and everything happens at the perfect time. And what we need to do is be really open to the signs and to the synchronicities and to the information we're given, and to how it feels in our heart to move forward, because that's the only thing really that there is. Our goals are what we want from an ego perspective is so little compared to what it can really be on a fulfillment level and on a fulfillment of our own soul's journey. So I wouldn't change anything, even the hard moments, even the struggles, the challenges, all of that. I would keep it exactly as it is.
Fantastic. It sounds as though you've learned quite a bit from all your experiences with different spiritual teachers, and perhaps from your own journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to summarize what were the secrets? What were the most key elements of the teachings of different people who you interviewed that really are in common between the most prominent of these teachers? What would you say these key elements are?
I would say from what I heard so far, the key element is really loving oneself. We have to love ourselves and stop looking for outside approval, and it's all within. So it really starts by accepting and loving every single aspect from how our reactions to what we have done in the past, to how we are in the present, to what we're planning in the future, to all of that, and really start really embracing with love, and not with just this romantic love, but with really this love with a capital L, all that is, and it really starts from within. It really starts from within. I'm also learning that it's not so much, it can't be a conditional journey. It has to be unconditional, and we have to open to source. We have to open to a higher intelligence, if you will, but we're also part of it. So it's really, we have to just open up again to ourselves and to all that is, and trust and see that the universe is a friendly place. What comes up also very often is that we are the co-creators in our life. We are the ones, and we have chosen to be here at this time. We're the greatest of the greatest. Our soul decided to be part of this shift. There is a shift happening, and we're in the middle of it right now. This month window from today until 28th of October is huge. It's huge. It's really a choice. And it will always be a choice, but it's a choice between love and fear, clearly, where we need to choose what we want. We're creating all together this new earth that is coming together already, and that we have the chance to live in this beauty, in this paradise on earth right now, and not wait for some day. It's happening right now, and we have to recognize that. With gratitude, gratitude is very, very often mentioned. I personally believe even we have to be grateful for what seems negative, because that transmutes the energy and then opens up to so much more. Gratitude is such a key in life and in everything.
Well, when you talk about the new earth, that sounds very much reminds me of the book by Eckhart Tolle, same name, The Earth. It's interesting that before we started recording this interview, I mentioned that I'm going to go to Maui to meet with and interview Eckhart Tolle, and he said that you're planning on doing the same. That will be a great opportunity.
Yeah. I won't be interviewing him because I have already been in communication with his staff, and he's extremely busy and won't have time. And I fully know that he's now in the position, having done what he has done with Oprah Winfrey and having the structure that he is on, that it'll be hard for me to do so, yet it's one of my intentions. And the same way that when I've interviewed Wayne Dyer 2 months ago on my very last day in Hawaii, I was in Hawaii on the GC tour for 6 weeks interviewing amazing people, but Wayne Dyer was on the top of my list, and it happened miraculously. And I know that when it's supposed to be, it just happens. So, yeah, Eckhart Tolle is an amazing teacher. And again, I think, and where I really get a kick is interviewing people that are unknown. Like for me, Anamika, that I just interviewed in Los Angeles, is for me an Eckhart Tolle. She is right now the next thing, with the perfect energy and love, and how she expresses herself and everything is so clear and beautiful and good. So I'm excited about the scouting part too, not just interviewing famous people.
Right, and just a few years ago, Eckhart Tolle was not famous at all.
Yeah.
He had to self-publish his own books.
Yeah.
So, speaking of books, I know that you have recently published a book and you have another one coming out in November.
Yeah.
Would you share with us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, sure. The first book, I wrote it after losing my job back in 2009. That's called I Lost My Job and I Liked It. And it's the 30-day Law of Attraction Diary of a Dream Job Seeker. So it's really 30 days. It's the 30 days following losing my job over in London after moving from the U.S. to London for that position. And 7 months later, receiving a phone call from my boss that he no longer wanted me in the team. And that was one of the most humbling experiences I've had so far. And I decided to apply the law of attraction and universe principles and staying in the positive and opening up my journey and recording. So I shared what happened for 30 days after that, which turned out into a book. And then a second book, which is happening right after that, which is going to be published it's going to come out in November of this year, 2011. And it's called I Had No Money and I Liked It. And the subtitle is The Abundant Journey of an Open Heart. And I think a lot of us are going through that or have gone through that to really discover who we are beyond the materialistic world, beyond the money world, beyond the mind game and the reason and all of that is being installed since for most of us, at least, that's how we grew up. So I think it's the part of this awakening to go through that and to detoxify ourselves, to heal ourselves from this old conditioning, to see that abundance is here everywhere all the time. And the more we live truly from the place of the heart, then it just presents itself in such a magnificent, beautiful way. And the Juicy Tour is a testimonial of that.
Wonderful. Well, yes, I can totally relate to that. As a matter of fact, I could write a book. I still don't have any money, and I like it. And so, I wonder if you would mind sharing with our readers a little bit about the gist of your upcoming book. What would our listeners and the readers of your book be able to learn from reading your book?
It shows the vulnerability. I really opened up the entire journey as it is and as it was back then, and shared every step of the way, but also how I shifted and the lessons that were coming in, all the way to the point where you can clearly be with me in the book when I open my heart, and then witnessing all the synchronicities that happen from that moment and afterwards, and the abundance that comes in is inspiring. And what the first book says is that because it's a personal journey, but a lot of people have recognized themselves in that. So I think we're living similar things, and to read it helps sometimes to voice it out or to give the courage to continue on this path and to take it further. So it's like even if I'm speaking about my own journey, I feel like as people read, it's taking them with me and getting that energy and something shifts there in that process of reading.
No doubt.
And participating.
And of course, I imagine that you also would be able to share quite a bit with somebody who would like to start any kind of a video blog or a video program, internet TV program. Like, for example, if I were to begin this journey from scratch now, what would you suggest to me to do? How would you suggest that I would
if somebody wants to share their journey or to a video blog, I think it's a great thing because it really helps a lot of other people, and so you really want to make this this video blog first of all and think of what it's going to be or which topic or where you're going to head. I'm not too much about planning, but you still have to kind of really see and know your passion and where it's at, and you just have to love doing it. You have to love video blogging or the message or whatever is the essence of it. You have to love it so much that it's unconditional. You're not doing it for this and that. You're doing it because you just want to share, and then things will unfold. On a technical level, you can just start. There's YouTube, there's Vimeo, there's Dailymotion. There's a lot of websites. I think I've been using YouTube since the beginning. And then you just start your account there, and you can record directly from the YouTube platform and upload it right away, or you can do it from your webcam or from a camera. But I would really say make it easy. It's not so much about how pretty it looks, but it's really more about your willingness to open your heart and do it from a place of love and have fun in the process and want to share it no matter what's the number of views, because it starts with very little views, and that's when it has to be really unconditional because there's so many people doing it, and you just want to make sure you're having fun in the process, because then you're going to have some creative ideas and things that will make it then maybe some other people will want to embed it in their site and share it. I link all my videos with Facebook, so then I add them on Facebook. Each person that I interview, they share it on their Facebook and in their newsletter. They, not every person does that, but at least I ask or encourage them to do so. So social media has been a big one. Social media being Facebook, Twitter, the newsletter, having a video newsletter that I send out.
A video newsletter? Oh, I have to subscribe to a video newsletter.
Yeah, from liloumace.com or thejuicylivingtour.com, and then you just receive the new videos, because some people watch the new videos from Facebook, but some others from that newsletter. Some other people will be subscribed to your YouTube. Some people find it through the videos that are embedded inside those speakers. Wayne Dyer shared the video I did with Anita Moriani on near-death experiences that he had connected me with her, and then he ended up sharing that video on his fan page, and it's 500,000 people on his fan page, including Hélène DeGeneres. So then who knows, where this goes, because one thing led to the next. When we just do it from a place of the heart, we never know how big it's going to be or what it's going to lead, and just the healing too that we receive because we're on this path is magical. It's just a miracle every day.
It definitely is a miracle. And as you mentioned, the synchronicities, what is the meaning of synchronicities from your point of view?
Synchronicities, I feel, is like these things that happen are not by coincidence. It was meant to be. It's kind of, I feel they're kind of like destiny or milestones in our life purpose. We're perfectly on track when they happen, and it's two things coming together that you would have never expected to come together at that time. So they're surprising, they're uplifting, they're inspiring. They're just like, what did that thing just happen? And it's like you're at the right place at the right time with the right person. And there's synchronicities that happen every day. We're just not present and in the present moment to see them. But each of them is usually one synchronicity, one event like that would bring to another and another and another. And it just like it unfolds from there. There's kind of like a thread. So synchronicities are very exciting, and they feel like each time like a miracle, and there's so much gratitude that pours from it. And synchronicities might just be you're at the supermarket and you were doing your grocery shopping and you bump into an old friend that then tells you about this book to read. That's a synchronicity. And you feel, but what happens then is that it really resonates with you, and you're not, it's not just any kind of information. It's like, oh yeah, and I've heard of that. And then the next day, so you hear about it on your Facebook wall. Somebody is going to post that book again. And then the next thing you know is that you do a research, and then boom, you hear about that book. So this is a synchronicity. It came to you, it got reconfirmed, and you're like, wow. And the next thing you know is that you read that book, and then you're like, wow, and you discover something else. It opens something else, that then leads to something else, and there you go. You're on this life journey.
So in other words, it's a reminder that we are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
it gives you information. Yeah, and it reconfirms that you're in the flow for sure, and that you're in the present, and it gives you a piece of information, a connection, a step. It's like, okay, it's a path, it leads to the journey. Yeah, it's the path of synchronicities, as Dr. Alan Hunter describes it really well in his latest book.
Would you say
I would love to interview him.
Would you say that life is easier to live if you pay attention to synchronicity?
Effortless. And a lot juicier.
And more enjoyable.
Because things come to you. You understand that you're the co-creator and that you don't have to pursue and force things and actively open closed doors. If you understand that if it's meant to be, it comes to you and it comes on your path. And sometimes we have to be patient. We have to actively listen and appreciate what there is to appreciate in that moment, even if we feel there's no synchronicities happening. We've got to appreciate that too. Just the appreciation of it coming in the future, not having it, not knowing. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so great. I can't wait.
Or perhaps it's happening right, or maybe it isn't happening right now. Or maybe not
whoever's listening,
paying attention to it.
Listening. Oh yeah, whoever's listening, this is a synchronicity. Boom, right there. You can just choose it's another thing, or that it's really a synchronicity and there's no coincidence. And then that opens up to something else.
So would it be fair to say that the flow is always happening? We're always in the flow. It's just sometimes we don't pay attention to that, or
the flow is always there.
Yeah.
The flow is always there. The chi, the life force. I mean, it's always here, and we're the one that separates ourselves from it.
Exactly.
We're the one that choose not to, but it's here at any time, and we can just hop back on or not. And how long do you want to feel separated from it? How long do you want to be in a world of competition and of separation and of, how long do you want that to stay? How much longer do you want suffering? That's all, because really the juice is here. Paradise and all the flow is here all the time, all around you. The trees are not stopping growing.
Well, that sounds very much like my own teaching. You must have been reading my book.
Yeah, that's my
I think this is universal knowledge, actually. I suspect that you don't have to be a Qigong master to know exactly that. And speaking of Qigong masters, I know that you've interviewed several, including several friends of mine, like Dr. Yaffa Chow, and I think you interviewed Min Tong Gu, and perhaps a few other folks. What would you say are the most similar things among people who exhibit mastery? What is it that makes people masters from your point of view?
I really enjoyed interviewing, I must say, Mitong and then Yaffa Chow. I love their centeredness and their peacefulness and how they were being and talking and behaving and listening, and everything was just so like, it was like in the flow, in that just like dance of life. And there was so much flow in their body, and so the body and the energy and everything was very fluid and very in the moment. And I love that clarity and the space it creates once around masters. And Mitong is awesome. I mean, Mitong has the most beautiful smile. He explains in the video how he smiles from within and how important it is to smile from within. So listening to him and spending a time with him is pure melody and angelic. You know, it's like it's so great. It's really great because he's very present and in the flow and centered. And I guess masters understand the life. And I must say I have a little bit, not an issue with masters and guru, but as I said at the beginning of this interview, I'm more going towards that we all are masters.
Of course we are.
And that might be shocking, but so when we use the word master, I'm not as comfortable with it. Yet I recognize that there is a level of mastery and of dedication that I highly acknowledge and love. The dedication and the commitment to this, and the level and the discipline even that it takes. I admire that. I admire that deeply. And each time a person meets another person like that, it can just uplift you to the next level and want to be in life or dedicate and bring more discipline and more focus. So it's a blessing when a person meets another person like that, because it awakens the master in ourselves.
So would it be fair to say that masters are those who are particularly skillful in awakening masters within us?
Yeah.
So from that point of view, we can also say that masters are often the ones who notice synchronicities most likely and help us notice synchronicities happening in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you said that you have an issue with the term masters, I would really be curious to explore that a little bit more. I hear a lot of people having issues with masters and gurus and say, oh, this is just self-importance speaking, this is just spiritual egotism, putting yourself on a pedestal. Is that the reason why you have the issue with the masters and gurus?
I do think that some people attribute themselves the term master or guru when they're not, or maybe not. I do think there are some great teachers, and I do think that some people recognize them as such, and it's always a projection from others. I find out that the true masters and gurus are very humble and don't even want to use that term. Same thing in shaman or healer. They do not really use that term. They're just being that. And I guess when we see that, then we call that. But again, it's naming things, and a true master has humbleness and peace, and their presence is just healing, yeah. But usually we don't really name that when they truly are. So I have and just antennas, and as I'm interviewing people or select people I interview, I always try to, when I can, and this is not very often, but as pure as possible, and as open-hearted as possible, so that then the information that is shared and the energy is as healing as possible for people watching and sharing. And so that's just where I'm coming from when I hear that.
Right. So when people spend years, perhaps decades, dedicating a lot of time and energy to mastering a certain discipline, and then they eventually become capable at the level of mastery to invoke mastery in other people, then they don't have to tell everyone, hey, I spent 25 years mastering this, so you should call me a master now. They just do their work, and the mastery shines through the actions, not through their words. So to speak.
I do think that when you meet an enlightened being or a master, you just know, and you naturally want to bow and have respect because you can feel the dedication and the discipline and that, and we shouldn't be stuck on titles, but we should really, whatever feels right, and one master will be one for somebody and not for the other, and that's okay. I think we all need to respect each other and see what best is aligned with our own mastery, if that's the path we choose. So I highly, I really have a lot of respect for people on this path that dedicate as much time, and I love connecting with masters. But there are some masters that are totally unknown, and that is there's something so pure about that. And the monks, for example, monks, I'm thinking of, there's a Hindu temple too on this island, and there's the monks there. They're dedicated all day. They pray and they connect, and I would love to meet them. And they're very hard to approach. They don't really, they dissociate themselves from all attachments of that sort.
Right.
They're just there. They are in the I am.
Right.
That's where I think when a person can be in the I am, that's mastery of life. Huh?
Yes, mastery doesn't really work very well with attachments. It goes hand in hand with detachment, with freedom. And I would imagine that perhaps you also notice that some people have certain secrets or certain teachings of the more esoteric nature that they don't really share with the uninitiated, so to speak, with the general public. Do you often run into the people who you interview who actually have certain inner knowledge or certain secrets that you came to learn about?
Yes, I have, and I'll keep those secrets. The reason why there is those things is, again, it's another synchronicity. It's a blessing that one receives in life to be initiated, or there's the component, and then it becomes. It's kind of like, I think there's this sacredness and the sacred garden, and these things that particularly resonate with ourselves that we have to. It's not keep secret for the sake of keeping it secret. It's just that it's so private and intimate and vulnerable and sacred and precious on our own path that why share that? Like, there's a true then respect of oneself, and I'm all about sharing. I mean, I really open up my whole journey, but when it comes to sometimes even esoteric, some people are comfortable with all aspects of it and of sharing that, and then I'm not at that place where I master that topic or can share some of that. I'm experiencing it as it comes. I'm testing it. I'm seeing how it feels, and then I'm in a place where I can share more about it once I once I fully grasp it, when I fully know that this is something and it's time to share, or it feels good, or I have seen some things unfold because of that, you know. I'm all about really trying to see each time, does it feel good or not? Should I try it or not? Is it not questioning what the masters or teachers are saying, but experiencing them for myself first.
Do you
So I know that doesn't answer your question entirely.
Well, let me rephrase it perhaps. Do you often get to experience the practices or more detailed teachings of the masters you interview?
Yeah. I very often have a session or have a healing, or I've seen that since I'm being on the Juicy Living tour and on this path, I am experiencing a lot of the work. Yeah, it happens very often where naturally the person will just say, I would love to do that for you. Because all the videos that I put out are for free for people to watch, and people don't pay me to do those videos. It really happens through donations. People online donate to support the tour. So I guess, you know, being in the flow and understanding the flow, these people naturally want to sometimes share their book or give healing, and that's why I feel totally blessed, because it's just very abundant too in that regard. And so, yeah, I do experience some pretty cool stuff.
And what would you say was most remarkable from your point of view, or what stood out the most for you?
I've been very much loving the experience more related to ancient teachings and the ceremonies, because that's not how I was brought up. So the rituals and the this and the that are something that is quite special, very special and sacred, and coming together as a group and connecting with the earth in this way and to the universe is really, really, really cool.
And have you had any particular teachers or people you interviewed who you resonated most with?
The teachers, yeah, there's a lot of them. I really enjoyed, and this is a little bit, but it's still the same topic, but it's Joe Dispenza that was in What the Bleep. He's in neuroscience, so I very much enjoyed Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've enjoyed very much connecting with Wayne Dyer. His energy is just awesome. I've enjoyed getting to know Ram Giri, that is based in Florida, that does a lot of the work based on Baron Katie's work, but he adds some other elements to it that makes it really juicy. I just love, you know, the biggest teacher really right now for me is Kauai, because I'm staying in Kauai. I'm on the island, and I'm getting to learn now from nature, which is just something else. I would have, you know, teachers come from all different places at different times in our life and at the right moments. And so each time I'm interviewing somebody, that's the right teacher. And I'm very profoundly surprised and moved by what's being shared. And right now I'm sitting in the middle of mountains, and the ocean is in front of me, and I'm in this beautiful home that was donated on the tour, and I've got trees in green, so green, I can't even begin to tell you. That right now this is my teacher.
Have you connected with any kahunas or the native Hawaiian shamans while in Kauai?
I will. I just got here 3 days ago, so that's definitely one of my intentions to do that. Yeah, last time I did, when I was for 6 weeks here in July, I did all islands, and I interviewed some aunties and some kahunas, yeah. But that was a baby step, and I think there's a lot more to discover.
Definitely. Well, I definitely look forward to being in Hawaii myself in just a month from now. I also would love to ask you a little bit more about the specifics of your show, if you don't mind sharing with us. You know, there is a certain question that I've received actually from two of our listeners already, and the same question is, so how do you make money off of your show? The topic of the book is I didn't have money and I liked it. It implies that it's no longer the case. In other words, you somehow found a way to make living doing a show. How did you do it?
I do not make a living, and very often people ask me, so how do you make a living? And I must say that that's not the space I'm in. I'm the tour, which is very much aligned with my life purpose and mission, is supported through donations. I have about 1 million video views a month from all around the world, and people donate through the site, through juicylivingtour.com. They donate sometimes $10,000, $20,000 to support and for the tour to continue. And people donate things through the site, and resources and volunteers step in, and I definitely receive a lot of help from the non-physical. And I can truly tell you it's an abundant, amazing journey. And the money that I make from my book or meditation CDs that I have and DVDs all go to the tour right now. I am not in a space where I'm concerned about savings or about living. I'm not concerned. I'm fully living what I know I need to do this year, which is the tour. And right now I started in January, so we're end of September. And it's been an amazing journey. And as I'm on this journey, I'm receiving healing and a new understanding on what's next and the things I need to put in place. So I'm expanding now into web TV internationally in all languages, in all countries. That's where I'm going. And adding some products and some things like that. So it's just I'm allowing life and the opportunities to present themselves so that I can generate more revenues to be able to then have larger teams to support this and grow and this and that.
How would you feel if a substantial nonprofit organization would approach you and say, we would like to support your TV program?
Yeah. Good. Anything is possible. The main thing that is important is to keep to work with some people that support the tour and the initiative, understanding that it has a juice of its own and it needs that freedom, and that if there is money to support it, to take it to new levels, which is definitely going to be the case soon at some point or another, then these people and these individuals trust and understand that it will expand as it needs to expand, meaning that originally the tour was supposed to come from corporations and things like that, or sponsors, and that's how I thought it would work. But I had to really do a quantum leap of faith and just step in the unknown, and because there was no sponsor money or donations before the tour started, so I just had to. I knew I had to start it, and then from that moment things start to flow in, and I know to this day why there's been no sponsor, and because of the nature of the information I'm sharing. And it's not denunciation, but it's bringing some truth that can be not very aligned maybe with corporation and the old world. So
right.
If the money comes from authentic and aligned and wanting the best for the planet and understanding that this project is, then if it's done with in unconditional way, then of course. of course, because there is a great vision here and it's a great reach.
Fantastic. There is also, of course, I believe, a sense of fulfillment that you probably experience because you've actually created this fantastic and very popular and very appreciated program pretty much from scratch on your own, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where do you envision yourself being in a year from now? Using the law of attraction. Yes.
In the year from now, I'll be touring around Europe and doing the same thing for 12 months around European countries, one country a month. And I'm originally from France, so I'll start with the UK and Ireland. The audience, the people listening and the viewers and the co-creators are very much in North America and Canada, but then they're around Europe, Scandinavia and Belgium and Holland and Germany, all those countries. So I'll be going to one country every month, probably 3 weeks a month, and for 12 months, interviewing people locally and sharing that with the world. That's what I'll be doing. So in September 2012, I'll probably be around Germany, around that area, I think. But you never know. You know, it's just, that's for now the vision and what feels good. I might be in Zimbabwe at that time. I don't know. We'll see.
That sounds wonderful. What would be the next level, if you say the term applies to your TV program?
The next level is to have it in all languages in all countries and start to have the web TV India and Japan and in German and all of that, so that one video is translated into many, many different languages all around the world, multiplying the reach, improving the quality of the broadcast, having help and support, because right now I do a lot of the editing and the distribution and the setting up and the traveling arrangement and this. So there's a lot of areas that can receive help.
All right. Well, I certainly would be delighted to see how we can help you, and also I'm sure that lots of people will be honored to be able to help you in your wonderful journey.
Thank you. And there's a way, if you want to give in some way resources, there is now a new form that is on the juicylivingtour.com website. And if you go under contact, there is interview suggestions if you have people that you suggest for interviews. And then there's another link that is a resource form. And then you can share on there the resources, the talents, or the skills that you have that you want to help to contribute to this journey.
Excellent. All right. And what is, again, the website for your books?
They are under the new site, actually, that we're just setting up is juicylivingpublishing.com. And, but it's on Amazon, and it's on also the liloumace.com. That's my own main website, and that's the original web TV and how it had started. So liloumace.com.
Great. Well, to complete our dialogue today, let me ask you, what would be the parting words, so to speak, of wisdom or advice for you to somebody like me who is relatively new in this work of having a talk show?
I think you know exactly what you're doing, and you're an amazing host and interviewer, and your questions are awesome. It's really all about continuing and amplifying and even asking really the light and really stepping in fully in that light and asking for all support and bringing it on, dear brothers. I'm ready. You know, it's really stepping fully in it.
Great.
You can't have one way in, one way out, you know. You just have to commit and then be fully in it. If that's your calling, if that's what feels great, then bring it on.
Well, thank you so much, Lilou. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you. And I look forward to connecting with you in Hawaii, on Maui.
Thank you. I look forward to it too.
You have listened to another episode of The Secrets of Qigong Masters, the talk show brought to you by Academy of Qidao, the first and only school in the world offering professional education in Tai Chi and Qigong coaching. To find out about the programs at Academy of Qidao and to learn how you too can become a certified Qigong or Tai Chi coach, please go to qigongcoaching.com. This show is also brought to you by Mastery Magazine, the international e-zine dedicated to mastery in Qigong coaching and life that sponsors the Summit of Qigong Masters, bringing to you some of the top experts in Qigong in North America. To enjoy watching the video interviews with them, please go to qigongmasters.com.